You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Today, hundreds of thousands are without power and the death toll continues to rise with Ida's aftermath.
With a view, because we are set up for a perfect Labor Day holiday. We'll have the latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
So we look at what makes the Little Balkan celebration stand out from other fall festivals in the 4 states. All that and more coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. The death toll from Hurricane Ida continues to rise with 68 confirmed deaths and several still missing. More than 600,000 homes remain without power. This comes as President Biden declares a major disaster in New Jersey on Sunday. The declaration will make federal funding available to state residents in 6 counties, allowing for grants for temporary housing and home repairs, low-cost loans, and other financial assistance. Volunteers returned to Carthage after almost a week, helping those affected by Hurricane Ida. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with crew members on their relief efforts and how they feel to have made an impact after such a damaging event.
After a week of 12-plus-hour days spent restoring power to those following the devastation of Hurricane Ida, volunteer crews are returning home.
I mean, in an event like this where we have a hurricane, we have all of this forewarning, knowing that it's coming, and the level of the hurricane and the strength of it allows us to position people in a proper place, ready to go when it actually does hit land and cause the destruction. So we were ready to go.
Volunteers from Carthage Water and Electric Plant spent almost a week repairing storm damage caused by Ida.
We have, I think Carthage Water and Electric has 80 plus employees. And I think at any given moment, we have 80 volunteers willing to go help and do their part. And for me, there's a great sense of pride in not only in our employees, but our community that we're willing to help.
Most of their work was focused on rebuilding lines that were damaged or taken out by the storm.
We had a lot of broken poles, down poles. We had a lot of broken wire. We had trees that were down on top of lines. And so basically we were just rebuilding the pole structures and the lines that the storm had taken out.
The team's lead foreman says even after working from 6 a.m. until 8 at night, there were times when people were still in need and their crew wanted to be of assistance.
We were pretty dehydrated and tired, and I remember a lady and her 2 kids rode up on a 4-wheeler and they just needed their power back on. So, we stayed and made sure that we got that back on. We were wanting to go home, but we stayed. That definitely made an impression on all of us.
Now, the company says they're extremely proud of their volunteers, providing these essential services to communities in need. In Carthage, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Well, the crews from Carthage worked alongside other area crews from Independence, Lebanon, Nixa, and Poplar Bluff. 7 Wichita firefighters headed to Louisiana over the weekend to assist with Hurricane Ida recovery efforts. A call was sent out Saturday requesting 30 engine companies to help with the relief efforts. Wichita is sending 2 engines and a strike team leader to help clean up the aftermath. Firefighters from Johnson County, Leawood, Lenexa, and Olathe will also be helping out. They're expected to be gone for 2 weeks. Officials respond to a house fire with someone still trapped inside. According to the Girard Police Department, around 10 Sunday morning, authorities were called to a house fire at the 300 East Prairie Street in Girard for a report of a structure fire with a person still inside. When responders arrived on scene, they rescued 65-year-old Gayla Rinkins. She was transported to Girard Hospital. 39-year-old Samuel Rinkins was outside when the fire started, and officials say he suffered minor injuries and was also taken to Girard Hospital. Kansas State Fire Marshal's office is assisting in the investigation. 2 of the industry's biggest poultry companies agreed to pay nearly $35 million to settle a lawsuit with chicken farmers. The suit accused both Tyson Foods and Purdue Farms, along with several other firms, of conspiring to dominate the industry and fix the prices paid to farmers who raise chickens. Tyson and Purdue agreed to the settlement last week without admitting any wrongdoing, while the lawsuit remains pending against several other industry giants, including Pilgrim's Pride, Koch Foods, and Sanderson Farms. Fort Scott National Historic Site brings history to life through its Labor Day celebrations. Over the weekend, the historic site held walking tours and a cannon demonstration. Fort Scott's historic site project manager says the staff is using the celebration to bring awareness to Labor Day's significance to the country.
We're celebrating Labor Day. Early 1900s, labor unions and the labor movement really came into play, but there has always been a division between management and labor as far as equitable pay for equitable work. And we're trying to bring all the different elements of that together.
The historic site's Labor Day events continue today, and visitors can learn more by going to their website. Well, check out Berlin's Festival of Lights, which opened last Friday. The city turns its light projection capabilities and well-known landmarks into one of the world's biggest open-air art galleries. And Berlin opened its 17th Festival of Lights display with a theme focusing on the environment this year. It's called Creating Tomorrow. That's pretty cool. What's that?
I said that's a pretty cool site.
Yeah.
I was not familiar with that festival. Well, that is awesome.
I think it goes through like September 12th or something for a while. Yeah.
I was just happy we were able to sneak most of our events in here in the 4 states. It was busy. No matter where you were in the 4 states, there was something going on, and I know that Friday night was not cooperative for a lot of you, and I extend my apologies via Mother Nature, but I know a lot of them were able to be rescheduled over what was actually a really nice weekend, indicated by our high temperatures over the past 2 days, as we've been at 86 on Saturday and Sunday. Broke that string of 90s, if not high 80s there that we'd had recently. Our September average high sitting at 89.2. Believe it or not, that is actually going to go down here for the next couple of days. There we are with a gorgeous look over 7th and Range Line. It is so comfortable outside right now on this Labor Day morning. 60 degrees, cannot beat it. Even with the high humidity, yeah, grass is wet, but for the most part, tell you what, when you get temperatures, and I'll say it, this low, you get temperatures this low for early September, and you're not going to notice a difference as we see anything from 57 in Parsons and Lamar, all the way up to 63 right now in Neosho. Let's go 59 in Miami, 58 in Pittsburgh. There's the glow cloud outside of Television City, not a cloud in the sky, and the best thing is here in about the last 45 minutes, we've done an excellent job dispersing of the fog. You see a little bit hanging on down there, but it was much, much thicker pre-sunrise. Clear Skywatch storm tracker, just absolutely gorgeous. Do want to point out we still have 2 flood warnings. While it looks like one, that's actually 2 rivers put together right there. That's the Osage and the Little Osage for those of you up in Vernon County. That thing's going to last all the way until Wednesday. Hopefully it's going to crest later on today, and then we can let it expire Wednesday evening. Here's the Skywatch storm tracker for the contiguous 48. Not a whole lot of action for the Midwest. Still seeing some big rainstorms off the East Coast, and then up in Big Sky country, it's just too dry and too windy. That'll exacerbate their fire concerns throughout the course of our Labor Day. Our weather trend here in the 4 states, high 80s, plenty of sunshine, nice little southerly breeze, and we're going to be very, very dry here on the 7-day forecast because we don't have a whole lot of heat that pops up and nips us during the afternoon and evening hours. We kind of lose that instability that we had gotten used to during our heat waves. And so that's why we keep our chances for rain very minimal, very, very, very pleasant in the middle of the week right there, 84 and 87. Now I was talking about heat waves. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here it comes back. We're going to roll a string of 90s over the weekend.
All right, well, up next, emergency tents go up in Stillwater, Oklahoma, as the area braces for new coronavirus cases. And the city of Pittsburgh returns to its roots to celebrate Little Balkans Days. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. The U.S. is closing in on 650,000 deaths blamed on COVID-19, but officials say that's a number likely different and higher than reported. According to the CDC, the death tally is more likely closer to 750,000 here in the U.S. One analysis finds a handful of states, including Kansas, Georgia, and Wisconsin, have amended death certificates of those who died in January of 2020 to reflect COVID-19 as the cause. Previously known, first COVID deaths were thought to be in February of last year. Emergency tents go up in Stillwater. Oklahoma as the area braces for new coronavirus cases. The tents were set up outside the Stillwater Medical Center as the city declared a state of emergency. Stillwater's mayor, Will Joyce, made the declaration ahead of Labor Day weekend, and actions were taken to ease medical center overflow pressure. Volunteer doctors, nurses, and technicians from the Medical Reserve Corps are assisting the treatment tents. Large crowds were expected in Stillwater as Oklahoma State University opened its football season at home Saturday night. Well, as the Delta variant continues to spread, some COVID-19 hotspots are seeing record hospitalization numbers. And with well over 100,000 new infections reported each day, cases are more than 10 times the levels of earlier in the summer. CBS's Deborah Alfarone reports from Washington.
In COVID-19 hotspots around the nation, the summer surge is not showing signs of letting up.
Our situation is dire. We are setting case records. We have a record number of Kentuckians in the hospital battling COVID, in the ICU battling for their lives.
The highly contagious Delta variant continues to fuel the surge, while only just over half of Americans are fully vaccinated. According to a CDC report released last week, COVID hospitalization rates for teenagers and children rose nearly 5 times from the end of June to mid-August.
You'll get more children infected. In fact, when they get infected, just on a pure basis of the relative number of people that will actually get into the hospital, you're going to wind up seeing more children in the hospital.
Dr. Anthony Fauci says the Biden administration may still meet its September 20th timeline of offering COVID booster shots, but the infectious diseases expert at the National Institutes of Health adds that the Moderna shot could see approval a bit later.
The bottom line is very likely at least part of the plan will be implemented, but ultimately the entire plan will be.
Despite the unrelenting pandemic, millions of Americans are traveling this Labor Day weekend. This California resident is visiting Las Vegas.
Wearing your mask, protecting yourself, cleaning your hands, it's all you can do because you never know.
The CDC recommended that unvaccinated Americans not travel on the holiday weekend. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Washington.
Dr. Fauci says health officials are studying whether booster vaccines can be mixed and matched with the first Pfizer or Moderna doses people received. Well, too much time on your hands may be just as bad as not having enough. A study of 22,000 Americans reveals as an individual's free time increases, so does their well-being. But that levels off at around 2 hours and starts to decline after 5 hours. Leaving people unhappy. Researchers suggest those with too much extra time find activities that give them purpose. I don't know the meaning of extra time.
Well, you know what too much time on your hands would be, right?
Something to do with
idle hands
are
the devil's playground. Old man saying, chalk it up. I'm on a roll this morning. So far, folks, I have dropped As the Crow Flies and Idle Hands to the Devil's Playground. You're welcome, Tanya. She likes to make fun of me, folks. This is why we love working together, because I drop antiquated sayings, and Tanya actually has a list, and she's like, sweet, Michael dropped an antiquated saying.
I know. I was in the newsroom and I overheard. I heard your weather and I was like, as the crow flies, check.
Check. Skywatch Storm Tracker and Daily Almanac on our September 6th. Look at that record high, 101. Of course, that would be 1950. I tell you, 54 and 52. They just dominate our August and September records. It's a very pleasant 60 degrees outside of 7th and Rangeline right now, with temperatures ranging anywhere from 57 right now in Lamar and Parsons, 59 in Miami, 56. Look at, okay, now we got Nevada and Stockton that have dropped down to 55. And the nice thing is our fog just about gone. So that is a great sign. The Skywatch Storm Tracker is clear. Remember, we've still got flood warnings for the Osage and Little Osage running until Wednesday. As far as the contiguous 48 goes, yeah, still raining off the East Coast, but they've been able to drop their flood warnings. Not the case for portions of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. where they will have flood warnings for the rest of the week and then elevated fire concerns through Wyoming, Idaho, and the Dakotas. Our 7-day forecast on this Labor Day is perfect. Highs around 89, a lot of sunshine, and a dry 7-day forecast. And then we've got a heat wave that's going to come back. But that's not until the weekend. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this. Frontenac Raiders opened the season with a big 20-zip win over the Columbus Titans, albeit had to wait a little bit because Mother Nature forced that game to be finished Saturday morning. Was a little revenge for the Raiders after the Titans won the matchup last year. Raiders defense kept the Titans off the board the entire game. On offense, you had Justice Compton and Mario Mangini, who each had rushing touchdowns. Quarterback Colin McCartney connected with Aaron Doria to get the scoring going in the second. Here's Frontenac head coach Mark Smith's thoughts on Colin McCartney's playmaking ability.
It's huge. The big part is he kept his poise when that happened, and he just found the guys. The receivers did a good job getting open, and those were in some big situations, 3rd and long and stuff like that. So big plays gave us a lot of momentum, and it kind of led us to victory.
Of course, this Saturday brought a lot of exciting games in college football. Oklahoma State Cowboys opening their season and doing so at home against the Missouri State Bears. Oklahoma State just outside of the AP Top 25. First quarter, Shane Illingworth to Tay Martin in the end zone, 5-yard touchdown. Later, Oklahoma State going the other way. Jalen Warren right up the gut as the Cowboys take a 13-zip lead. Then L.D. Brown says, well, some guys go up the middle. Some guys got the speed to do this on the outside. Now, Missouri State would battle back, but Oklahoma State keeps them within an arm's length and wins it 23-16. Let's stay in the Sooner State for Les Sooners, opening against Tulane. Now, this was actually a home game in Tulane, even though the game was in Norman, Oklahoma. That's because it had to be moved due to Hurricane Ida. Close one for the number 2 team in the nation, but OU holds off and wins 40-35. Sooners score 3 on the ground, 1 through the air. Heisman candidate Spencer Rattler, 30 for 39 passing with 304 yards. Coffeyville opens up its season, 3 straight home games through the month of September. On Saturday, Red Ravens hosting a tough one in their first game. That's because they had to take on the defending national champions, the Hutchinson Blue Dragons. Third play of the game, Red Ravens fumble. Albert Nunez returns it 24 yards into the end zone. Looks like Hutch is going to roll this one, 7-0. Coffeyville not done. First points of the season come in the second quarter. Brenyan Scott with the interception. That's going to set up a Corterius Wilson touchdown right before the half. And then in the second half, roll Seville roll. They take down the defending champs 17-10. Independence Pirates on the road for the season opener. Had to face Butler, top 15 matchup. Independence. Watch this, 3rd and 30. R.J. Walker's hit that. Go Reggie Williams. Run Reggie Williams. 44 yards off the tip pass. Get this, Independence says we're going for 2. So they make it 8-0. We're at 8-7 now. Walker keeps it this time, strolls into the end zone. 15-7 Indy. This is awesome right here. Walker swings it at Deontay Wilson. 54-yard touchdown makes it 22-7. And then Walker, do me a favor. Come visit us in the living room. Walker finishes with 203 yards and 4 touchdowns. You're welcome, 4 states. Independence wins 50-28. Little MLB action. Salvador Perez hit 2 home runs Saturday. He's got 40 on the season. First catcher to do so since Javi Lopez did it in 2003. And on Sunday, he wasn't done. Perez hits number 41. It's a 3-run blast. And the Royals, they're playing some good ball right now as they take the series from the White Sox. And I tell you what, Kyle Singer on the mound, or Brady Singer, he pitched a heck of a game. He had six shutout innings. What was the final there? Couldn't remember. Was it 6? Yeah, I thought it was 6-0. National League, this one was a wild one because the Cardinals were 3 outs away and they were up 5-1. And the Brewers scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning and won it on a walk-off grand slam. Cardinals wild card hopes starting to decline. Be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this.
It's time to honor today's 4-state hero. World War II veteran and Joplin native Edward Collins, the Purple Heart recipient, served in Europe with the U.S. Army. We're proud to salute Corporal Edward Collins, our four-state hero. Little Balkan Days is back in Pittsburgh after last year's cancellation. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky checked it out and tells us how this festival's unique events differ from other fall festivals.
This Labor Day weekend, the city of Pittsburgh returns to its roots.
So we honor our ethic and immigrant heritage because Pittsburgh, Kansas and the Southeast Kansas area was an immigrant melting pot. So every Labor Day we celebrate that history, the coal mining history of the area.
The city does this with their annual Little Balkans Day festival. The 3-day event showcases different cultures through music, art, food, and more.
So we have cooking demonstrations in Lincoln Park. We have all kinds of live music. The bagpipes are getting ready to start here. We'll have a folklife festival all day long with local color. JT Canola is the MC, where we'll have poetry readings, Slovenian music, polka music, country, bluegrass.
The bagpipes at this year's festival were played by Orrin Weiss, something he was shocked to be able to do.
I like Little Balkans. We've attended before. I never really thought that I'd be on the stage, though. My brother and sister were always the singers. But I play the bagpipes, and I guess that's what I'll be doing up there. But I'm excited to play here.
Saturday's festivities also included a dog show. One winner says she's proud of her pet, especially for learning new tricks as an older dog.
And then I was so proud of her because she learned all of those tricks super duper fast.
These types of events are uncommon for local festivals, something Little Balkan Days, which is in its 36th year, is proud of.
It's not your average fall festival. We have a full lineup tomorrow as well with a polka dance and a chicken dinner in the mall. We even brought back the original cookbook from 1985.
In Pittsburgh, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Oh, that was my son in the very first shot in the drum line. Kind of cool to see. Well, another half hour of news and weather is just ahead. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14, China's wandering elephants are almost home. We're going to check in on the pachyderms. And Jeff Daniels stars in a new Showtime drama series. We preview American Rust. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back.
Fox State's most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:32. Let's take a look at today's top stories. The death toll from Hurricane Ida continues to rise with 68 confirmed deaths and several still missing. More than 600,000 homes remain without power. This comes as President Biden declares a major disaster in New Jersey on Sunday. The declaration will make federal funding available to state residents in 6 counties, allowing for grants for temporary housing and home repairs, low-cost loans, and other financial assistance. Carthage water and electric plant distribution crews are back home after a week spent helping those affected by Hurricane Ida. The crews worked to restore the power grid along the Gulf Coast. They were joined in southwest Mississippi by volunteers from Independence, Nixa, Lebanon, and others. Fire crews rescue a 65-year-old woman from a burning house in Girard Sunday. Police say the fire started around 10 a.m. When responders arrived on scene, they found 65-year-old Gayla Rinkins still inside. She was transported to Girard Hospital. 39-year-old Samuel Rinkins was able to get out on his own. Officials say he suffered minor injuries and was also taken to Girard Hospital. The Kansas State Fire Marshal's office is assisting in the investigation. Well, 2 of the industry's biggest poultry companies agree to pay nearly $35 million to settle a lawsuit with chicken farmers. The suit accused both Tyson Foods and Purdue Farms, along with several other firms, of conspiring to dominate the industry and fix the prices paid to farmers who raise chickens. Tyson and Purdue agreed to the settlement last week without admitting any wrongdoing. And while the lawsuit remains pending against several other industry giants, including Pilgrim's Pride, Koch Foods, and Sanderson Farms. Well, this Labor Day weekend, a local historical site takes us back in time and tells us the importance of observing the holiday. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky explains how a cannon demonstration was used to explain labor throughout the eyes of those from the 1800s.
This Labor Day weekend, 4-staters have an opportunity to be transported back in time.
We're celebrating Labor Day. Early 1900s, labor unions and the labor movement really came into play, but there has always been a division between management and labor as far as equitable pay for equitable work.
The Fort Scott National Historic Site wanted to educate the public about the meaning behind Labor Day.
So it's bringing all these stories to light and letting the visitors that come here understand what happens and help them to decide.
Which included walking tours around the site.
You get to see all the different areas where people worked and where people congregated, everything from where they cooked to where the officers lived and worked to where we have the artillery.
The last demonstration of the day was a cannon used to show the labor of the fort.
The dragoons here at Fort Scott had a cannon. Here it was mainly here for ceremonial purposes, but we usually on the weekends when we have reenactments try to fire. It's very popular. Usually have nice crowds to see it go boom.
Ultimately, the historic site's goal was to show how important the fort is to American history. And while it has no official ties to the labor movement, the labor happening at the fort wasn't part of unionized work, but was still through the military and federal government.
It's the labor involved behind that, the support. No activity can happen without support of the labor movement.
In Fort Scott, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
The historic site's festivities will continue today as well. Well, that herd of elephants wandering through southwest China are almost back home. Chinese officials say the herd crossed a bridge over the Ammo River on Wednesday. Elephants are about 64 miles away from their original habitat. The elephant herd attracted worldwide attention after they left the nature reserve in the Yunnan province and walked more than 300 miles north. Like the heat video there. Yeah. Well, the Yunnan government says it will continue to help the herd get back to their home.
Pretty cool idea to bust out the infrared camera right there.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that. The wonder of satellites.
Keeping track on it.
Current conditions over 7th and Rangeline. What a marvelous Labor Day morning that we're experiencing right now. A very comfortable 60 degrees. Temperatures ranging anywhere from about 57 to 62. Can't beat it. And that fog is just about done. Now, tell you what, it's a little bit cooler than what we've had past couple of days, especially when you get down to the south. Look at that double-digit dip from Monday morning compared to Sunday morning in Welch and Miami. Then everybody up to the north, especially northwest of southeast Kansas, going, what are you talking about? This is exactly what we had yesterday. Skywatch storm tracker has remained clear. Flood warnings for the Osage and Little Osage River. Hopefully those will expire around Wednesday night. Watches and warnings for the contiguous 48 include a whole bunch of red up in Big Sky country. Elevated fire concerns as they will have wind gusts of 40 miles per hour and actually have humidity dip down to 15%. Whole bunch of thunderstorm activity off the East Coast right there, and even after Ida, they've been able to get rid of their flood warnings. And you'll notice we cut out of the severe thunderstorm risk map. We're going to be dry for most of our week. Temperatures up into the high 80s today with plenty of sunshine. Wind not too bad, just coming in from the south and then shifting to the southeast overnight as we're back into the 60s. Because our temperatures remain so mild, we don't have any pop-up rain that'll get us during the afternoons or evenings like we have had in the past, and a 7-day forecast with very, very nice temperatures until the heat wave arrives on Friday. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this. On the KOAM News Now Facebook page in our morning Insta poll, your Labor Day plans, because there is new concern that gatherings this Labor Day could kick off another COVID surge as daily cases now averaging more than the 4th of July weekend. Here's Lila Lucitiato.
Summer is coming to an end, and with it, hopes of getting COVID under control. Nationally, cases topped 1 million this week, nearly 10 times the number of weekly cases from the 4th of July. And once again, the U.S. has the highest daily case count in the world. Still, millions are on the move this Labor Day weekend.
We're all vaccinated, so we feel comfortable hanging out together.
The CDC is urging those who skip their shots to skip holiday travel. Across the country, ICU wards are full again, most of the COVID patients unvaccinated.
Our choices today and over this weekend can help prevent the worst case scenario for our healthcare system.
Nationally, COVID hospitalizations are 3 times higher than a year ago, with the number of children and teens in hospitals 5 times higher than when the summer began.
Hospitalizations are much lower among children in communities with higher vaccination rates. Vaccination works.
And the politics of the pandemic keep turning schools into battlefields.
You have a target on your back for enforcing unlawful orders.
An Arizona principal was targeted by 3 men holding zip ties and threatening to make a citizen's arrest over COVID restrictions.
We will continue to follow those guidelines and stay the course.
What did you and your family decide to do this Labor Day holiday? Right now, an overwhelming 89% of you say home sweet home, staying right there. We have 4% of you that traveled, 1% staying local. I kind of consider that staying home as well. And I get you 6%. I'm with you. Be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this.
In Consumer Watch this morning, many businesses are looking for new employees, including driving schools. But as Sophia Periconi reports, one school in Las Vegas says if they can't hire new instructors soon, they won't be able to help drivers get on the road.
Connor Hull says it took him months to get into driving classes because of instructor shortages. He now believes this will impact safety on the roads if schools continue to struggle to hire.
We advertise everywhere to get instructors. We're in desperate need.
Kathy Kelly, co-owner of Safeway Driving School, says driving schools aren't immune to the employee shortages that thousands of businesses are facing. She believes extended COVID-19 benefits, which end Saturday, are stopping her from hiring and keeping instructors.
We've had 14, and now we're down to like 3.
It's becoming an issue new drivers are starting to feel. New student Connor Hull says it took him 2 months to even schedule classes.
With how hard it is to, get in, how hard it was for me to get in, I'm actually lucky to even have the dates that I have to, do the driving on the roads and be able to learn all this stuff.
And Kelly says finding instructors is about to get even harder. Typically, new teachers are required to take 30 hours of driver's ed classes plus 5 hours behind the wheel. Starting September 1st, Kelly says the DMV is changing that.
DMV would like some type of certificate stating that they have done some type of instruction anywhere, and I guess in any profession.
If they don't show proof of any type of certification, the training goes from 35 hours total to 115.
Is anybody going to wait that long to be employed, once they start, if they ever come back to work?
As of right now, even before the changes go into effect, Safeway doesn't have enough instructors to get new students in until the middle of November. Connor says his girlfriend is one of those waiting, but he's using his luck to help her in the meantime.
With me helping try to, do this, I can also help them learn a little bit, be able to prepare them for the driver's test.
But while he tries to do his part until more people can get on the books, he's concerned about the long-term effects of instructor shortages and what it'll mean for the safety of the rest of the valley on the roads.
We definitely need to be able to understand what it's like to drive on the roads, be able to pass on knowledge of how to properly be safe on the roads.
Kelly also believes that ever since businesses reopened, the roads have become more dangerous, which is why she feels like she needs to hire even more instructors as soon as possible.
Well, some popular Nabisco snack treats are in high demand by supermarkets as the Nabisco workers' strike could affect supply chains. According to the Wall Street Journal, grocery stores are stockpiling popular Nabisco cookies like Oreos and Chips Ahoy, as well as Ritz crackers and premium saltines. Workers at Mondelez International, the parent company of Nabisco, started a strike in early August. The employees walked out over the company's decision to lengthen shifts and cut overtime pay. A Mondelez spokesperson says manufacturing at its facilities has been fully operational despite the strikes. We'll be right back with more after this, but first let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
In Showtime showcases a new family drama. Anthony Pura with our Eye on Entertainment report.
Jeff Daniels stars as a conflicted small-town Pennsylvania police chief in the new Showtime drama series American Rust.
This case is poisoning my town.
Based on the novel, American Rust follows the chief as he works to solve a murder while protecting the son of the woman he loves. Maura Tierney co-stars. American Rust officially premieres on Showtime September 12th, but you can watch the first episode now for free on Showtime.com and YouTube. The new Princess Diana biopic, Spencer, has received a warm reception at the Venice Film Festival. Kristen Stewart plays the troubled princess.
I feel like everyone feels like they know her, because that is her talent. And it's what's beautiful about her, is that she's accessible, and you feel like you're friends with her, you feel like she's your mother. But ironically, she was the most unknowable person.
Spencer arrives in theaters November 5th. Dwayne Johnson, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot play an FBI agent, con artist, and thief in the upcoming action thriller Red Notice.
You want to arrest me? Arrest me.
But making the arrest isn't as straightforward as it appears. Red Notice comes to Netflix November 12th. And the union that represents actors has a new leader. Actress Fran Drescher is replacing 90210 star Gabrielle Carteris as SAG-AFTRA president. Drescher ran on a platform of positivity and optimism. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Anthony Pura, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Of course, perhaps best known for The Nanny. Let's not forget Fran Drescher also has done just such an amazing job as far as her fight against cancer and bringing awareness about it as well. High temperatures over the weekend, only 86, and what that did was dropped our September average below 90. And we're going to get to enjoy some very mild temperatures for this time of year. It's right now 60 degrees over 7th and Rangeline. Our temperatures have ranged from about 57 to 62 all morning long. And our fog, a thing of the past, as the glow cloud now has burned off everything that was residual. Pretty big difference in temperatures, especially for the central and southern portions compared to where we are today as to where we were on Sunday morning. But we're going to warm right back up because we don't have a cloud in the sky on the Skywatch storm tracker. We do, however, have flood warnings for the Osage and Little Osage rivers. Nationally speaking, it's a mess out in Big Sky country with those red flag warnings, and those fire concerns are not going anywhere for them. Their humidity is going to drop as low as 15% this afternoon. Now, nationally speaking, all the rain stays really on the East Coast. They actually do not have any flood warnings out there, so that's a good thing. But if we trace this thing back, it's not all the way connected, but look at this. Down through the mid-Atlantic and then all the way into East Texas. So that's a pretty good line right there, and it's kind of mimicked by the severe thunderstorm risk map. We cut ourselves out of it. Our afternoon planner is delightful. We're going to go high 80s today, really right on par for where we'd be on the 6th of September, and then overnight back into the 60s, and a 7-day forecast that's going to stay on the dry side. I know everybody up to the north is going to be happy to hear that. Everybody down to the south would say, you know what, we could use a little rain every now and then, but really don't have that threat. The only thing we're really eyeballing this week is going to be our heat wave that hits us beginning on Friday. We'll be back, wrap up this edition of the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Here's what's happening today. President Biden is set to visit New York and New Jersey tomorrow to see for himself parts of the Northeast hardest hit by the deadly remnants of Hurricane Ida. On Friday, the president flew to Louisiana, where hundreds of thousands of residents still lack power and many don't have running water. The average number of daily COVID-19 cases on the 4th of July was under 12,500. 2 months later, they've jumped to more than 160,000. That's an increase of more than 1,000%. Health experts worry that Labor Day weekend travel and get-togethers may add to the surge. And on this Labor Day, the $300 weekly pandemic jobless benefit boost for millions of Americans ends. The federal eviction moratorium already has expired. Other assistance, including rental aid and the expanded child tax credit, are still available. Let's check in with Michael. with a final look at your forecast.
Gorgeous Labor Day. Talking about a whole bunch of sunshine and temps high 80s. Actually cannot beat it. And a 7-day forecast that really keeps us, I don't want to say mild, but very seasonable. Look at Wednesday and Thursday. That is just great for this time of year. Now we know the heat's not done. It's gonna come get us from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Zookeepers at the Beauvais Zoo in France say 2 twin pandas born last month are rapidly gaining weight and growing some fur. The pandas are named Fleur de Coton and Petite Neige, and they're the offspring of Wan. Each weighed about 4 to 5 ounces at birth, but now they each weigh about 2.5 pounds. Zoo officials say the babies and their mother are in excellent health and doing what pandas love best, sleeping.
Amazing video right there to watch how gentle that mother is considering how small those babies are and how large and powerful she is. That was really neat. I want to thank you for letting us put the good in your morning. I hope you are able to enjoy your Labor Day, and we'll be back with more news and weather when we see you at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.
Hi, it's Ron, the Chief